Erik went to the Indy 500 this weekend. We'll talk quite a bit about that. Uh, there was a something in Monaco. There was a something in Charlotte.
Literally something.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him something because it wasn't a race. But we'll get to that. Big announcement from a Cup Series team shutting the doors, and apparently it's uniform night. This is
Right?
Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flo,
I'm Eric Richardson.
and this was not the intentional.
We did not coordinate. This is
No.
totally random.
And I feel like your shirt sits higher than mine.
I think so.
That's weird. Whatever. I said we got to revamp some of this logo merchandise anyway. So, yeah. So you went to the 500 this weekend.
I did.
Did you
Sat through 4 hours of rain.
did you stay dry?
Pretty much. We just hung out under a grandstand and we are in a pretty good spot.
Yes. Hang out under a all metal grandstand. Was there any lightning in the area?
If there was, I didn't hear any thunder. It was
So I
just
heard.
really strong winds and heavy rain.
Yeah, so I was relaying what Mike Tirico was saying on TV to both you and Andy Amendola. Like they said, hey, they're going to start in 45 minutes. Get back to your seat.
Yeah, our good friend Andy Amendola, he had a great weekend.
Yes, he did. Wow, did he? We'll talk about that too. I heard you may have run into a driver this weekend too, outside the
Yeah,
track.
met up with Andy and his family before the race on Saturday, and we're hanging out. Um, Believe it or not, Marshall Pruitt walks down, and he's coming to the party also. He's like, "Hey, I was walking by, and you guys want to go see a driver?" So we walk like four houses down.
Yes,
Out
Marshall Pruitt
walks
is the Indy race reporter, Marshall Pruitt.
and walk down. Flag out front. Out walks Renus VK. So it's cool. Like he's just hanging out, t-shirt, shorts, barefoot. It's like, dude, you're racing tomorrow. This is cool.
I mean, t-shirt, shorts, barefoot in a front yard in Indiana in May. That's pretty much the total package. I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome.
that's pretty much how. That was a weird thing to get used to when I got older and I moved somewhere else. I'm walking around outside barefoot and people are like, "Why aren't you wearing shoes?" I'm like, because I'm not.
I'm from
And then,
Indiana. That's what we
and
do.
yeah, it's like we don't wear shoes. Like, what are you guys civilized? Like shoes. And
No,
then I
that was
moved
actually
here.
the first time I've been down there the night before a race and going through the neighborhood. There's just barbecues and parties everywhere. Where we parked, there was, I think, a live band out back. And it was like, this is cool.
The shoes thing changed for me once I moved to Arizona, and I realized when I step on the pavement, and the pavement in the summertime is 185 degrees, I'm like, oh, we're gonna put some flip flops on.
Yeah, when it can melt your shoes, I probably don't want to go
Yeah, I'm
barefoot.
like, yeah, it's like a warning they put out, like, don't leave your pets outside, and if you have if you have turf, a lot of people have turfs because of just how difficult it is to grow grass and water. And the turf gets really hot. Like the turf can push 200 degrees in
That's
the
wild.
extreme summer. So, yeah, it's very important you like take care of your pets and don't like
Oh, yeah.
people put shoes on their pets, like special like dog shoes to let them outside, and it's like, oh, you got dog shoes. Like, no, it's so they don't get severe burns on their feet.
And you gotta watch out for the scorpions at night.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's the other part of wearing shoes at night is whenever I walk barefoot, like I actually, when I let the dog out, I walked barefoot outside and I was very carefully walking outside, looking down at my feet the whole time. Um, I have been stung by a scorpion before.
Ow.
It is not fun. And I was expecting to get some kind of like superpowers after it, but it didn't
Well,
happen.
that's too bad.
It was actually, this was in, I think, like 2021, I believe. And we made the mistake of, we have like a bath towel that we put on the edge of the bathtub that we put on the floor so the kids don't like flood the bathroom. And I go and I grab the towel and I pull it off the edge of the bathtub, and all of a sudden I see something fly out from under the bathtub,
Oh,
under the towel rather. And gets me right in the side of the knee, like right here. And I immediately knew what had just happened to me. And I'm just like, stay out of the bathroom. I just got stung. And it hurts. It burns. Get out.
Hell,
Chase,
at
you know,
least you got
I,
it and not one of
I,
the kids.
I look over and I grab like the bottle of like hand soap, the pump soap, and I see it in the corner. I just go over like, die, you. And so like I kill the thing and I'm walking and all of a sudden like it didn't get me that bad. People have said that like the spot, like if it really gets you, you could like that spot could be numb forever. And I took some Benadryl. With kids, like you might have to take antivenom, but a lot of times insurance won't cover that, and you have to appeal it. And each dose of antivenom is about 10 grand. And they usually do 2 or 3 doses for the kids, with small kids. So that turns into an insurance fight. Go down to Mexico and it's $65. So anyway, from my hip down to my foot was completely numb on my right side for like the next like 3 hours. And I'm like limping down the hallway and I'm like, I know I'm putting my foot on the floor, but it doesn't feel like I'm putting my foot on the floor.
Oh,
So
man.
I took some Benadryl and I went, put a little ice on it, and the next morning it was fine. So it wasn't that bad. But I've heard some stories of people like, the other thing, unlike bees, they can pull the tail out and go in multiple times, and people, that's when kids really have trouble. You get stung once, you're probably gonna be okay. It's when they pull the tail out and go in and sting you multiple times because it's terrified of you. That's when kids might be in trouble and may need the emergency room and the anti-venom. But anyway,
Yeah. End of
Scorpion
the
101.
day.
And they glow under a black light, so they're very easy to find at night.
End of the day. Don't get stung by one.
Yeah, it don't. Yeah, we have pest control spray for a monthly, and those things are a pain. Like the spray, it basically just like dehydrates them, and then they like harden up and die. But the best way to kill a scorpion is go out at night because they're nocturnal. Take a black light, and they glow purple, or they glow kind of you got the purple light, but they glow white actually. And I've got a rubber mallet. I find them, and they're on the wall. Smack. And the one year in 2020, after we got sent home for COVID, um, I went really aggressive hunting scorpions, and I killed like 50 of them over like a 2-week period around my property and my neighbor's property. I just went out there with them multiple times because I had nowhere to be. So I went out
Nothing
multiple
else to
times at
do.
night with a black light and my mallet and killed like 50 scorpions over like a 2-week period. So
Should have
uh,
just started charging like $1 a scorpion for the neighborhood. Would have had a lot of fun and made some money.
we one of my neighbors said at the park down the street from us, you could go and take the black light and shine it on the wall, and you'll just see like dozens of these, the glowing just running around everywhere. It's yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
That's crazy.
scorpions, Indy 500. Never know where
It
things
works.
turn. So the race, you got rained on, you hit out under the grandstands, finally get back in, and rough start for the race.
Oh man, turn one, lap one. We had great seats. Everything that happened basically was right in front of us.
So I have to ask, did Bloomquist pull a me, or did a few years ago when we raced, did I pull a Bloomquist? Because I did it first.
You did it first, so
I
he
did it
pulled a
first,
you.
but he did it in real life. He did it in the actual race. So I think there should be some extra credit for him getting that first turn, go dip below the line onto the rumble strip, spin out. He should get credit for that. I don't want to be.
He is not the first one to do that, nor will he be the last.
No, he won't. And he's
It's
been
unfortunate. Marcus Ericsson,
yeah,
tough month.
brutal for him. But Bloomquist has been benched for the next 2 races.
Yeah, news broke this week. Castro Nevis is going to fill in the next 2 races for Bloomquist.
there's a lot of Castro Neves hate going on out there. And I can see the argument, but the argument is if he wasn't so successful at Indianapolis, he would have been mediocre at best.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
The only reason he's in that upper tier is because he is one of the few people to win that race 4 times. And can't poo-poo on that. There's many great drivers that never won that race.
Yeah, it can't take away
No.
winning it 4 times.
No, it's very difficult to win. I mean, Mario only won it once. Michael never won it. Paul Tracy never won it. That's
No, I definitely get that conversation. Is if you compare like who's had the better career, you have Scott Dixon wins like every single year the championship, it seems like.
yeah, or he's
You
right
have
there.
Castro Neves, who never won a title, but won 4 Indy 500s, where Dixon's only won once. But we talk about them like they're the same level of driver.
Still find it weird that a lot of people in New Zealand have no idea who Scott Dixon is.
I think what does speak a lot as well, and I think almost to a T, if you ask a driver, would you rather win a series championship or the Indy 500? I think they're all going to say, I'd rather win the 500.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
There may be some that would rather, but
I mean, that's one of those legendary things that you win. There's only been 90, 85 winners.
What now? 21 multi-time winners. So that takes it down to 80 different winners.
Yeah, so 80 different winners.
70 to 80
of a race that's run for over 100 years. And now Joseph Newgarden joins.
Fun fact, this year I think we just hit the 800th different racer to compete in the 500.
That is crazy. Only 800 people. And two, like, speaking of Newgarden, that was a great finish. That the last 50 laps or so this weekend was honestly, it was must-see TV.
Yeah, when they went green that last time, that next like 25, 30 laps was a little on the boring side because we knew that they were just going to run single file. They needed to make fuel. But I even looked at my wife after, like, once they make these pit stops, it is gloves off.
And it was.
They're going to be duking it out.
It was fantastic to the end. And Andy, congratulations, by the way, we didn't mention. Congratulations to him. He released or is getting ready to release another book.
Yeah, it was announced during the week of 500.
Yeah, that he wrote his first children's biographical book of Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah,
and they unveiled it last week. And he actually got his photo on the start-finish line with Newgarden holding the book and the trophy, the Borg Warner trophy, right there.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm looking at Joseph Newgarden social media, and it's like my favorite dance, and it's a hat dance. All the pictures get to the end of it, I'm like, I know that guy.
So it's really cool that worked out. I mean, it's he's unfortunately had a bit of controversy with that push to pass scandal, whatever you want to call it. But there's no scandal there this weekend. He
won it.
He won it. That was quite a move on the last lap. There's only been 2 last lap passes for the win now? And I think we're both him.
Yeah, it doesn't happen much.
I thought they
get it on that final straight.
Yeah, I thought they made this huge deal when he won last year that like never happens.
Yeah, Pato was playing it right. They were alternating back and forth, and it's funny listening to the announcers. They're like, "Here goes Pato." I'm like, "No, he's not. He's not going to pass because you had to time it." And knowing Newgarden was able to get such a run when he would pass that it would take a couple laps to come back.
Yep.
So that's why he's like lap 4 to go, and it's like he's not going to pass.
No, he wasn't.
He's going to have a hard time getting back. So he timed it right, but he couldn't get the launch from the pass that Newgarden could get. And that was really the difference.
And I
Ward
feel
took 2 laps
just
to get back.
gutted for
Newgarden
him.
took half a lap.
You gotta feel gutted for just Pato. Just afterwards, it's just second time he's finished second, and I mean he's only 25, 26 years old. He's gonna get more opportunities.
If he keeps it up, he's gonna win one.
Yeah, but it's just like you never know. Like when's gonna be your last 500? When's your best chance? You run into bad equipment. Yeah, Alan Jr. He won in '92. He won in '94, and that was it for him.
At least the section I was sitting in, it was very heavily in favor of Award.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and even on intros, Newgarden was kind of mixed.
Yeah,
it was not a pleasant one. I would have liked to have seen Pato win. I do like Newgarden. I just don't like Team Penske.
It's a tough spot. I mean, yeah, Penske's always been kind of the enemy.
And I have not liked Penske for 30 years.
You have the push to pass. And then but now it's like, oh crap. Andy, our good friend Andy, is now writing it. He's his first biographer, and we got the car from last year on the desk here. It's like, I'm so torn.
Yeah, and I texted Andy after. I was like, "Do you have to update it already?"
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna see an update to a book that hasn't even been released.
Yeah, right. It's like, okay, back to the drawing board. But yeah, I mean, Andy, like I said, you can't top this weekend. Like it's not possible. I said, you come out here for the race. You're treated like a VIP. You're sitting on the front stretch on the inside. You're getting photos with the winner of the race. You wrote the book for the 2-time winner of the race.
Hanging out in the garage.
And he's name dropping of people, the drivers, and saying how they he likes the book he wrote. It is a great book. I don't have it in here right now, otherwise I'd pull it out the ABC.
I wish I had a copy. I did get to see it before the race, so it was really cool to see a early copy of it.
The Newgarden book.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen a physical copy. I've seen the digital. We've seen the digital copy. I guess that's not. Well, I mean, you look at the last couple pages of the book, you're gonna know we saw it early. We worked with Andy on the IndyCar book, as if you've purchased it from RedRacerBooks.com, you'll see both Erik and mine
at Red Racer Books.
Yeah. See Erik's kid, my kid's names are in the back of the book. We tested it out. We gave him feedback, like, and Andy asked, like, what'd you like? What was there any part that was boring? And one of my kids is really like loves like go-karts and driving. The other one, like, just like, no, I like, when we go to Phoenix Raceway, her favorite part is going into the kids area and building the cars out of Legos at the Lego setup there. She has no interest in anything else there. And one of the questions was, did you find it boring? And one kid says, no, that was great. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I was like, the racing part was boring. I'm like, I need a DNA test right now.
Read mine.
I'm like, you are not my child. No.
Overall, what did you think of the race?
I enjoyed it. It was rough start. Then you have the Hondas blowing up, and Marco hit some marbles, and Andretti curse lives on.
Got in too high.
They were surprised on the broadcast about using the outside of turn 1 and how long they were able to get it to stick before somebody it ended up being Marco. Didn't work.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a really bad race, but at the same time, it was like one of the best 500s I've watched.
It was a great finish.
It was weird how it hits both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, the beginning it was rough. The drivers are, you got all the rain delay, and I think the track was not really a factor. I don't think it's not like they left a wet spot or anything like that. But
I remember
I,
the race we went to, it was just boring. We'd run 10 laps, caution.
caution,
10 laps, caution. 10
caution.
laps, caution.
Danica going to punch Ryan Briscoe.
Best part of it.
Oh, um, but you want to talk about boring? My alarm clock went off at 5:45 Sunday morning because Monaco started at 6.
Yeah, I did not see any part of it.
And when my alarm went off, I sat in my bed for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, do I really want to go watch this? This is probably gonna suck. And so I go downstairs, get my cup of coffee, sit down, put the race on, and then we get a big wreck on the first lap.
Might have been the best part of the race.
That was the best part. Well, I mean,
It's the only action that happened.
Charles Leclerc winning his home race. That was cool. But other than that, it was just like, oh, this was garbage. Like, this was absolutely terrible.
Max over the weekend was like, I'm bored.
Like, this is boring. And after qualifications, like, George and I are going to go for a run because I'm not even tired right now.
I saw a graphic of where the racers started and where they finished. Straight line.
Top 10.
IndyCar.
This first time ever that the top 10 starting and finishing did not change.
And then you have IndyCar.
600 and what was it? 651 on-track passes or 649. It was 600 something.
Yeah, it was the most on-track passes since the 100th in 2016 when they had like 800 some on-track passes. We would have had more if 8 cars hadn't wrecked out in the first 10 laps.
Then there was a point where I don't know, they're probably about 3/4 of the way through Monaco, and Valtteri Bottas passes Logan Sargent in a non-DRS zone under a green flag, and they're making such a big deal about it. Like, is he gonna pass him on a non-DRS assisted on-track pass? Yes, he did. Sorry, Logan, you are
might actually be the easiest pass to make on that track. I want to see him do well. I really do. I just don't see it though.
I think he's done. I mean,
I think part of it's the equipment, but part of it's driving too.
He just looks lost. If you watch his in-car and listen to his radio during the broadcast, he knows he's screwing up and he's making a bunch of mistakes. And it's like, it's one thing to be, flawless or near flawless with inferior equipment. It's another to be just making silly mental mistakes in inferior equipment. It just makes it that much worse.
Yeah. And when you're up against people that are watching the screens to watch the race while driving, you're pretty far behind at that point.
I think his Formula One career is going to be over. Question is, does he make it through the rest of the season?
I don't see it. I think we're going to see a pretty big shakeup here by the end of the season. Next year is going to be a completely different lineup.
Yeah, last year was like one of the first years ever where there were no changes among any of the 10 teams.
We're going to see like half the field change.
I mean, we already know
if not more.
Lewis is leaving. Sounds like Checo might stick around Red Bull.
It's going to be interesting to see, but I think a lot of it factors on what Verstappen does and how at least Checo finishes out the rest of the season.
I mean, if you run Checo out of there, who are you going to get that's better than him?
Carlos.
I think Carlos wants too much money, or that's kind of what they implied.
It'd be fun to watch Andretti play F1's hand and sign signs. Hey, we're going to take one of the best drivers.
I still think Well, you have Nico Hulkenberg's already announced his move for next year.
He's what, going into kick.
He going to kick, and then they want him ready to go when they do their 2026 switch over to Audi. Have their German driver driving the Audi.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Sounds like Ocon's either getting suspended or benched or
he's gonna get benched
out of the team.
He's I think his Alpine career is gonna wrap up here.
Gasly is maybe a question mark too. His contract is up. That's the thing. A lot of the field have contracts ending this year.
The only position, the only team that's set so far is McLaren and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Everybody else is up in the air, and you've heard Valtteri Bottas going to Williams, and
I keep seeing the rumors getting stronger and stronger that Verstappen could be considering Mercedes.
I don't know why he'd want to, but
I don't know. I'm hearing Adrian Newey is linked to like every team on the grid.
Apparently, Newey and Ferrari, that rumor's over. I saw that today, that apparently that's not happening.
Yeah, I saw Williams and Newey most recent.
He's worked there before. I mean, he was there in their glory years.
And they need something.
Well, I mean, part of it is the cost cap they finally have an investment, but they have such like ancient equipment and ancient processes, and they have to, update everything while and then compete and cost cap and.
Well, and Red Bull just took a massive hit to their cost cap this weekend as well.
Yeah, thanks, K-Mag.
Somehow he did not get penalized for that.
I don't know what he was thinking there.
Bounced off the wall and then bounced Checo into his teammate and destroyed that Red Bull.
I mean, Magnussen's his Haas career is probably going to be over at the end of this year, would be my guess. Is it me, or does he feel like he's just kind of like, whatever, let's just go out and cause some chaos?
That's pretty much all he's been doing this season.
He's just been completely chaotic.
And then holding up the field, like, he's doing it to help my teammate get points. You're helping your teammate get a point.
A point. But hey,
not points.
That might be enough.
Alex
Albon came away with 2 points. I think they're only sitting about 5 points behind Haas right now.
Yeah, the battle for sixth is raging at like 7 points.
One of the best things that came out of this weekend was James Voll's quote about RB. He's like, I don't know what they're called. They called him like AlphaTauri RB Visa Cash App, buy one get one free.
Then Lance Stroll, he's still driving an F1.
Somebody pointed out this video of Alonso was told to basically hold up traffic so Lance could pit. And then Lance comes out first lap after and has a puncture. And the tire falls off as he's entering the pit.
Through Monaco.
So Alonso's like moving up, and he's like, all right, I'm moving into the position now. Thinking he's in the points. No, he was in 11th.
Monaco could potentially be off the schedule here after 2025 contracts come up. They do have the cheapest entry fee right now. So it'll be interesting to see if they get rid of the crown jewel.
I mean, that race has been terrible for a while, but
on a scale, it'd be like IndyCar getting rid of the Indy 500.
From a prestige standpoint, not from a quality standpoint.
Yeah, quality is way different, but the prestige level, or NASCAR getting rid of Daytona 500.
From a quality standpoint.
That's the equivalent. But the race
quality standpoint, we're looking at like 2006 US 2000, I think it was 2006 US Grand Prix, where 2/3 of the field boycotts the race.
NASCAR on any short track.
Yeah. Speaking of NASCAR, did you see any of the Coca-Cola 600?
Unfortunately not because
I didn't
of a
see it.
4 hour rain delay.
I didn't see any of it. I watched Indy through, and Kyle Larson didn't see any of it either. Ooh, that was brutal. I feel bad for
Um,
him. You know, that speeding
oh man,
penalty.
he was
Without
doing
that,
good.
without that speeding penalty, he would have had a good finish.
I think he would have had a top five, and maybe he could have been fighting for a podium.
He
He
had
had a
a
car, and he was figuring stuff out as the race went on.
he had a oops on a restart. I think it was the first restart.
Yeah,
Where
first restart, he had a missed shift.
yeah, he had a missed shift and went first to third instead of second, and just caused
Lost,
chaos.
I believe, 10 spots on that.
Yeah,
But he just slowly started poking away and moved back up into the top six.
and then Charlotte gets rained out. Doesn't get to run a single lap there. And I guess as of Wednesday, Hendrick has not filed a exemption to get him back eligible for the playoffs.
I'd heard that he was already granted, and that's why he was willing to stay at Indy.
I mean, I think they said they would, but I don't think they filed the paperwork yet, is what I've heard.
NASCAR's not going to hold him out. Let's be honest. You would
Yeah.
lose your entire fan base.
NASCAR gains so much by letting him run the Indy. Yes, you let one of your best drivers run another race in a competing series. And you'd think on the surface, okay, that seems like a terrible idea for NASCAR, but quite the opposite. There was so much attention on that. There's so many, so much press, so many people surrounding him. I mean, it was a big deal that he was there.
Kyle Larson single-handedly sold an additional 15,000 plus tickets to the Indy 500 this year.
Yeah.
And his line for an autograph on Legends Day was legendary.
Yeah, they had a video on social media of the sped up of the line, and it was just.
He is not even an IndyCar legend.
I mean, this was his first race.
Yeah, first race.
I hope he gets another shot. I also want to see Kyle Busch get a shot at it.
I know Larson had his hiccup a few years ago, but I have so much more respect for him now.
Yeah, that was.
I've been a Larson fan all along.
Yeah, that was. That was definitely a stain on his reputation. But I mean, he's bounced back, and.
But he had a mistake, and we can't just hold that onto him. He's done a lot. He was awesome in Indianapolis. Just everything that he was doing, but he was still giving time to fans and the press and everybody.
Yeah. So
he was the biggest storyline this past weekend.
There was a Coca-Cola 600. By the time I turned it on after the Indy race was over, it was already in the rain delay. So I'm like, okay, guess I'm not watching the Coke. A lot of people were.
Coca-Cola 375?
It was the Coca-Cola 600K. They actually they finished at about 600K. So it was the Coca-Cola 600K. A lot of people are upset at NASCAR because they had the dryers. They were telling the dryers to get ready.
Yeah, they were getting stuff ready. They had the dryers out. Crews were making coffee. They were getting ready to go.
And then they said, nope, humidity.
I guess Elton Sawyer came out and was like, well, the race is going to end up getting over like 2-3 o'clock. And that's if we didn't have any cautions. And that's just too late. Our workers have been here all day long. So we're just going to call it. They've finished races later than that in the past.
Yeah, I mean, they had there was a truck series race that ended at like 1:30 in the morning this year.
And I get it. They were halfway. Don't let one of your marquee events end just past halfway.
Elton Sawyer.
And that's where I was kind of hoping that IndyCar would either only make it to lap 99 if more storms hit to force them to come back on Monday, or get all 200. I did not want to see a 101 lap race.
That would be the worst.
And I'd be interested. what the teams were told is that could have changed how they ran up until that caution flag flew.
Yeah, I remember Elton Sawyer as a driver.
Yep.
He was a Busch Series driver for the most part. Had a couple of years in the Cup Series, like in the Winston days.
I like how you did have to clarify that Fox did not have an influence on it. But once again, you have Hendrick and Gibbs winning
Elton
races.
Sawyer helped with the design of the next gen car.
It's unfortunate that they finish that so short. I feel bad for the fans that waited out
Oh, I would be
many
so upset.
hours to then have an announcement. Race is over. It's official.
I would be so upset. Yeah, that was just poorly handled.
And I think most everybody would have said, yeah, we'll come back tomorrow.
Well, I
Or-
guess rules state once you get halfway, you're done.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, we've got Gateway coming up this weekend. We got Detroit coming up for IndyCar, and
Even though I'm only an hour and a half away, I don't think I'm going to make it over there.
I don't blame you.
For the race, it's actually really expensive tickets.
So many ways I could go with that, but I'm gonna just not say anything.
Well, speaking of which, we're also both wearing our gaming glasses.
Yes, we are. We are excited that we are once again working with Tifosi Optics. They were an early partner of ours, and then they shuttered their program, and then they started it back up again, and we jumped back in with them and got the Tifosi gaming glasses. These are blue light glasses, actually help with eye strain, which are really nice, especially if you're sitting in front of a computer all day, as I do, and especially when you're gaming too. You got these wild green color. This is the swank version of the glass. I don't think they actually sell this version of it right now, but they make sunglasses,
And
really
the
good
black
sunglasses.
frames. They do take a little to get used to.
Yes, I haven't
enjoy
worn
their
these in
sunglasses.
a couple of weeks, so I'm adjusting a little bit to it. But I wore them tonight during Wednesday night dash, and check out frracingonline.com/Tifosi or Tifosi Optics. Either way, it'll show you the fine collection of products for the Georgia-based company, and good, reasonably priced sunglasses too. I mean, they have, they can make prescription lenses now. Yeah, the sunglasses, polarized, non-polarized, whatever you prefer. And
You can find nice sunglasses for just $30.
yeah, I've been walking around
They
with a
look
pair of
good.
$30 Tifosi polarized sunglasses for the last 3+ years, almost 3+ years now. They're a little faded. The white on the arms are a little faded, but they still in really great shape. Good quality pair of sunglasses. So
Yeah, they're holding up just as well as a pair of $100 sunglasses that I have, and they look almost the same.
yeah, I mean, they're good quality. So check it out. Glad to be working with them once again.
Yes.
So I think on that note, we should probably wrap. Before we go, just a reminder,
Still got some time for this.
I still have this here. Got a lot of entries in this year. So get yourself in there, get your bonus entries. I can see when you're doing it because we're seeing follower counts start to trickle up. So thank you for everyone who's entered, and
That is a fender off of Tyler Reddick's car from last year's Bristol dirt race.
yep. Yes, indeed.
Unfortunately, I think it got cleaned up a little bit. There might be a little bit of dirt somewhere.
There's a little Bristol dirt on the inside here stuck against the serial number.
So there you go. Got some dirt from Bristol.
Yep. So
And it's a free entry too. You just gotta
yeah, you just
sign
have
up,
to let them know.
follow us, and
Got
you can
dust
win
from
it.
my office on this thing already. It's been sitting here, so clean the dust off.
It would
But
look great on
yeah,
my wall up here, but it's not going to my wall. We wanted it
nope, it's
yours.
gonna go on your wall. Enter today at frracingonline.com/contest. And as long as you're over 18 and live in the continental United States, it could be yours. And my kids
Yeah, I noticed you got a new friend tonight.
put a cat there. I'm like, okay. So got a cat sitting in the corner.
We are off next week from Wednesday Night Dash. It is week 13 in iRacing, and generally that means updates.
Big updates. We're gonna see some Corvette. We're gonna see a Mustang GT.
Excited to see what else rolls out too.
Yep, the Ford GT has served the game very well for a very, very long time. I want to say it was like 2010 or 2009 they released that
It's been
Ford
in a
GT.
long time.
It's been a long time. And the Mustang is here. So that'll be out next week. I will be probably buying it as soon as the update is done.
I will probably be getting the Corvette.
And just want to hear they published a video showing the sound or how they like record the sound for the car. And it was just really cool to see the behind. I mean, it was very brief, but it was still cool to see that behind the scenes of just the effort they go to make these sounds authentic as possible.
And be sure to follow us along on social media this weekend. I think we're both participating in a large event.
I probably will not, unfortunately.
Oh,
My weekend, unfortunately, is not looking good. And I don't know if I can spare 3 hours this weekend.
it is the iRacing Indy 500 this weekend.
Yeah.
I know I will probably be aiming for it on Saturday. We have a lot of our drivers that run with us that are going to be running as well. Hopefully you can get in there, get lucky somewhere.
I'm gonna go ahead and qualify, but I don't know if I could squeeze it out this weekend. It's just this weekend sucks schedule wise, but
give up the sleep and go for the 1 a.m. Eastern time.
That
it's
would
like
be
10 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
Be done by 2, 3 o'clock.
I could. Actually,
if you do, I might jump in and spot for you.
At a sign, I'm now a year older. I had to wear a knee brace tonight to drive.
I'll give you a hard time. You're getting old.
I know it.
And I'm older than you by a month.
You're by a month. Yep. I just turned 39 and my IT band on my right leg is all swollen. I don't know why. I'm blaming it on age. And so I was sitting there, I'm like, that hurts. So I had to put on the knee brace and drive tonight with a knee brace on.
Oh, man.
On that note, we'll see you next week for the show. Gateway, Detroit this weekend, Indy 500 on iRacing. A lot of stuff going on. And I'm probably going to end up at some stinking birthday party again.
No.
I mean, it's nice that my kids have friends, but why do you have to have so many friends?
Just block out these weekends in advance.
I know.
Wait, sorry, I can't do it.
Sorry, I'm busy. Well, I mean, I got away with sneaking away to watch the 500 relatively uninterrupted. So pushing it 2 weekends in a row, I actually got to skip out of a birthday party to watch the 500. So
yes,
trying that 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Take care.